What's up, little buddy Stash? Welcome to Dad's Workshop, man. Make sure you subscribe. Usually people don't pop in here. It takes them a little while to get in, so we got kind of a chill, laid-back thing going on here, man. Right now we're working on a bunk bed. If this is your cup of tea, definitely subscribe. Click that like button. But welcome in, little buddy Stash. Glad to have you. Hey, like air. I'm air, or I'm a sub, and like air, or I'm air and I'm a sub. But either way, welcome. Appreciate y'all. A lot of my regulars are in California, on the West Coast in the mountains, also over in Europe. So, and they all work. So it takes them a minute to get up in here. Weeb, what's up with you, man? Welcome to my live stream. Appreciate that, little buddy Stash. Appreciate that, man. You're gonna get shout outs if you're around here. I don't ignore my people. You'll learn that. This is like a community here, a real community. I gotta make a couple more lines on this piece here before people start showing up. But welcome all y'all. Appreciate the 4 of you stopping through, which is generally what happens when I start a live. People pop through and then they roll out. And that's fine. 4 subs go to 12? Really? I love the subs and they're real important, but this is how YouTube works. Since I can drop some knowledge on you all while you're listening. YouTube is going to put my message out to people based on the people who sub. So like if someone subs and they really don't like the content, then they're going to send my material to a bunch of people that probably don't like the content because they're like the person who just subbed. So what I'm saying is I'm glad to have y'all, but I don't worry too much about people subbing. I only suggest it to people who enjoy the content or want to join the community. I also have a Discord. It's in my description. We also chat in there, but we talk about all kinds of different stuff in here. But welcome anyway. Appreciate it. And yeah, appreciate the subscription. Stick around, become a friend of the show, man. That's what I always say. Take your time. I'm actually always late, so that's another reason it's probably taking people a couple minutes. I do this I'm going to do Monday through Thursday, potentially Monday through Friday, but I'm here every day at 5:30, so just come in and holler at me, man. Just say what's up. I don't need people to stay forever if they don't want to and all that stuff. This is my my director producer, Miss Heather, that you just dropped a comment in there. That's my Discord link. Appreciate y'all being here. First time here. That's great. I don't like that chisel that much. I gotta resharpen that. Take one that I sharpened today. Oh, let's do this first. It's tricky with gloves on. It's so cold, I couldn't do it without it. This is very tricky with gloves on. I went a little past that cut line, but that's not hopefully going to affect me here because I usually cut those, I usually draw them a little bit short. But that is not typical. Cold is probably affecting me. This is the back side of the chisel right now. So that's my micro bevel. Pretty good job sharpening these. Make a few more power cuts in here. I'm not sure that's 3/8. It's extremely difficult with these gloves on. Welcome to Dad's workshop. I'm down to the pairing line here. This is where I got to be careful when I do this. I probably should take this. The housing is just a little bit above 3/8. Luckily, I haven't cut the tie beams for this yet, so I can cut that with that housing a little bit deeper in mind. But that was a mistake for sure. Can't hold that with these gloves. It's really cold. I think I'm just gonna have to. This is tricky. Okay, that helps. Heather, why don't you announce on my Discord that I'm going live? Maybe they expect that. I think there's some people that might need that announcement. If I said Reddit, I meant Discord. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and do that. Thank you. I'm not super proud of this edge here. Somehow my measure twice, cut once got me. Anyway, I usually always measure multiple times. This is a bad 1/2 inch here. I'm gonna have to straighten it up to a 1/2 inch, and then I'm gonna have to go, the other side's gonna have to be a 1/2 too, where I'm gonna have to cut a special tenon because all of these posts are basically, including the tie beam, is cut with a 3/8 housing on them, and this is an ugly 3/8. This is more like a 1/2 inch, and it's not even straight. I don't want to remake this post. I'm not gonna do that, but I'm not happy with how that turned out, at least yet. I'm gonna see if I can clean it up a bit. Hopefully make it reasonable. So y'all see that's really uneven, and so I'm not super proud of that. It's gonna be tough to get all those little high and low spots exactly right now that I kind of dug into it. Definitely, this is a spot where if you have a shoulder plane, it would help. I don't have one of those. I don't know if I would want one. I'd rather just do it by hand with a chisel, probably. So I try to avoid a situation where I need one at all, but I kind of made this edge sloppy. Welcome. Hello, ¿cómo está? Bien. ¿Y tú? Como se dice? Welcome. Welcome to Dad's workshop. Do this here carefully. So the back side, the micro bevel on the other side can kind of be used like a plane. And that's what I prefer, kind of using the shoulder plane. But right now, I'm not really in a position to talk with an ugly line like that, but it looks a little better than it did a couple minutes ago. It was looking pretty bad when I first cut it. Thank you. Put Vaseline on. It's so cold.
Hey, Hank's here.
What's up, Hank? Slow night. Welcome, Hank, friend of the show. I'm gonna eat the rest of this in a minute. What?
Which one you drinking out of? Because I'm not icing. It's so cold.
Yeah, the one from yesterday is still full of ice.
You want to drink all of them?
No, I want something to drink. That's the newest one. Yeah. Wow, not cleaned up anymore. What you doing, man? I'm gonna start cutting this corner brace here soon, Hank. This is the housing, and I cut it too deep. This is now a 1/2 inch housing for that vertical post. Somehow I scribed my line too deep and didn't notice it, and then I redid it, or I definitely measured twice, like I said. So I measured twice wrong is what happened. So I guess measure 3 times is the answer for that. And so now I'm gonna have to cut that tie beam with an extra, couple millimeters of housing accounted for, and probably cut the other pins that go through the other vertical post down a little to match these. And that's a lot just by making one mistake. That's what happens. It's crazy. You know how it is. Glad the fur babies got fed. Oh, you got a bunch of cats, huh? Oh man, the Maine Coons, huh? Yeah, we got a couple of those around here too. Well, not Maine Coons, but actually some cats that kind of look like that a little bit. I told Heather I saw one in town, one up down the street on my run that looked like a Maine Coon. We got dogs and cats around here. You just got cats? Tons of dogs. Tons of dogs, and probably soon going to be some more cats, unfortunately. Because when our door fell off, which you may be aware of, some female rescued cats that we have that are not fixed yet. We were trying to get them fixed. Got out. There was just nothing we could do about it. And so it's a good chance that, you know, there's kittens probably, you know, big litters these cats have. Oh, you put a picture in the Discord? Check my other phone. If you want to see Hank's dogs, you got to join the Discord. See, Hank, you see, Hank, how I use your dog as promotion for my own personal gain? If you want to see Hank's cute dog and cat pics, you got to be a member of the Discord. That's how you're going to see him. So, clickbait. Oh, what's up, Vitaly, friend of the show, Vitaly. Shout out. Shout out to Hank, friend of the show. If you want to see these pictures from the chat, got to join the Discord. That's where the convo is going on 24/7. Also, like and subscribe. All you wonderful people. A rasp is a little bit more porous. This is just a file. But good question. Yeah. A rasp is going to have more look like a cheese grater. But it's a similar tool in the same family, but this is a file. So, and see how cheap it is? It's a cheap file. I obviously, probably not in your best interest to spend a lot of money on files since they get full of schmutz and you can't use them that well anyway. What was I in the process of doing when I read that? Oh yeah. Yes, a rasp would take a significantly larger amount of material off than that file. Probably actually a rasp in this case would be a better tool. I don't have one on hand, so something I need to get, a rasp. Yep. I have a couple files, but no rasps. Good point. Something to ask for my birthday present. A rasp. Probably have to buy myself one here soon though. Kind of a long time till my birthday. Especially doing this kind of a project where a rasp, can come in handy. I probably wouldn't need one. Tools come in are funny like that. Like you need them around, but when you don't necessarily need them all the time, you should probably still have them around. I wouldn't usually use a file either. It's not like my favorite tool to use. But I cut this joint kind of funny, so I'm trying to make sure at least it's smooth and I can get a good idea by eyeballing it of how I'm going to have to cut the tenon to go through. Yeah, man, circular saw blades, especially the ones that cut metal, like money in the bank, man. One thing I would say, advice-wise, on those circular saw blades is always check to see that they're tight in the circular saw, because you will, first of all, they'll dull quicker when they're loose, and then the saw will start acting like it's dull if the blade is not tight. So one of the number one things you'll see people have problems with their circular saw blades, they'll be like, oh, I used it and then I dulled it in one day. They probably didn't. It probably just got loose, and so it wants to kick when you get to, I don't know why it does this, but when you have a loose blade, when you get towards the end of a piece that you're cutting through, then it wants to kick. So yeah, definitely worth your while to always check to see if your circular saw blade is tight in there. Not that I'm here to coach you on everything. Tools are like, to me, not even like, well, because I kind of tools are like a desirable present to me, not so much like a utilitarian present, if that makes sense. Like I actually like them and can appreciate how they look and things like that. Plus, I'm most certainly going to use them, So as a gift. He's a practical man. No one understands him but his woman. Fatality. That was for you. That was a terrible line there. Practical man needs a practical woman. Or it's 2024. It's 2025. We'll say a practical man needs a practical somebody significant other. Oh yeah, they're sharp today. I got a number of them. Like I spent some time today working at a number of them to get them really sharp. Just to correct myself, I'll put it in the Discord too. But you know how I shave my hairs off? I understand now that is not a good way to check the sharpness of your chisel. So today, when I checked the sharpness of my chisel, I used the end grain of a piece of wood, and I tried to just cut straight down into it. The rule is if it crushes the wood in any way, it's not sharp enough. If it cuts clean through the end grain, then it's sharp enough, because the end grain is going to be difficult to get through. Generally, my chisels are that sharp. So yeah, that's the way I did it today, just to update my method. Yeah, cuts that end grain clean. Wow, welcome Pippo. Pippo, welcome to the show. Pippo Langstrumpf, and I do remember. How could you forget a name like that? So welcome back. Is there any difference between wood glue brands? I mean, pretty much this company that owns. I'm sure I don't know the parent company, but whatever the company is that owns Titebond seems to have like a monopoly on glue. Them and Gorilla, probably made by like 3M or something. But I like Titebond 3. That's my favorite glue. You could make cutting boards with it if you press them right. They can soak in the sink and never fall apart. You can make watertight wooden boxes with it if you use it right. So Titebond 3 is my favorite glue. So Titebond, take notice if you're watching. Maybe I can get a sponsorship by Titebond since I've plugged them for free. Gorilla Glue is good too. I don't use it unless I'm doing small projects, because if I'm doing big projects and I want a waterproof property to it in any kind of way, like I want a really good bond, I use Titebond to do that. Kind of continuing on with our conversation yesterday, somebody brought up what kind of wood this is, or what kind of wood shop this is, or what specialty we do here. And honestly, that was a good question that while I was running today, I was thinking about it. And what we do here is joinery and carpentry. So this is like furniture carpentry and also framing. So we're doing carpentry. So if someone with the last name Carpenter, remember we were talking about a person with the last name Cooper, that's a barrel maker. A person with the last name Turner, that's somebody who used a lathe and made bowls and spoons and all that kind of stuff, and table legs. Person with the last name Sawyer be somebody who saw they took logs and turned them into boards, and like somebody with the last name Woodman or something like that would be the people who chop down the trees. Well, in this shop, we do a lot of joinery and carpentry. So we're not doing like cabinet making in here, which is actually a category of carpentry, but we're not doing turning. I'm not using a lathe, at least not yet. I'd love to try one. But anyway, my point is this is carpentry, and I'm not a master. What I am is a you know a moderately proficient amateur. That's what I am. Just to clarify. Now, pine sap is not going to work as glue. It's not going to work as glue. It's hard to melt down anyway. But what will work as glue, and as tough as this is going to be for some people to hear, is what you can make glue out of is dead animal hide, dead animal hooves. You grind them down, and the binding materials in there, the gelatin and so forth. That's what glue is made out of traditionally. Sorry to say, now glue is a synthetic, I think. So, but you can't use a resin like that for glue. You're gonna have to actually come up with a glue for wood. It's gonna have to be glue. There are some YouTube videos where guys make. I watched a Korean woodworking video, and I think it was taken from a documentary, but it was turned into a YouTube video. And he's a cabinet maker, traditional cabinet maker, and he makes his own glue, and it's over his fire in this big cauldron that's hanging from a hook, and it's like brown, and he takes a big old like a scoop of it out of there, just swars it on his stuff. Hide glue, yeah. But that's real glue because you need something that's going to actually adhere. I'm going right down the side right now. make hide glue. Somebody, oh, hi, Vladimir. Welcome, Vladimir. Yes, I'm working on framing some bunk beds using joinery. Welcome, Vladimir. I'm going to try this Kovacevic. Kovacevic, I think is going to be that last name. Vladimir, correct me if I got your name wrong. Like maybe a Serbian or Czech name. Sorry about that. Do you think beeswax would adhere? I don't think of beeswax as like an adherent, you know. I think you probably would have to look at, and beeswax is most likely flammable as well. Just like any fat, beeswax is just a fat that has a high freezing point. I know because I just melted down like a half pound of it yesterday. I could have definitely cut that joint better, for sure. I thought they were too, man. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's Googled it, and you can use pine resin. I've never heard of that before. So you can educate me on that. That's gonna be like this. Ooh. Oh, actually more like this. So I know I'm off camera right now. I'm just trying to figure this out. I've got a heater on here. You can still see my breath. So if the width of a twin bed is 38 inches on a mattress, then that means I need to make these posts at least like probably about 45 inches apart. I don't think that's going to be 45 inches there. So I need to find some wood that's approximately definitely like in a fire or just the wood smell. Longleaf pine has the best like smell when it's cut. I love the smell of walnut when it's cutting too. But, yeah. 7 inches. So yeah, if I'm making a horizontal structural member to this that's going to be on this bed, it has to probably be 40 inches plus the width of those posts plus the length of whatever tenon type joinery I'm going to use. So I'm going to have to find some boards and measure out. And I'm going to take a look in a second. Be back in 1 second. I got to take a little break. I have a layout drawing over here. Looking for my layout, my rough layout drawing besides that one that I have there. Doesn't look like the... Oh, there we go. It's saying going a 58, so this needs to be close to 60 inches. I'm gonna say 58 inches from that's pretty long, but that makes sense because the tie beams are gonna be, well, I already have a bent of them set up, so the tie beams being that length and this being 58 inches gives it enough space to have corner posts, have tenons, and allow for the mattress size. Yep. Seems a little long maybe, but we're gonna do 58 inches, and then I'm gonna adjust the post probably with 58 inches. There's gonna be like, I'm gonna allow for 6 inches of tenons, so 3 inches of tenons on each side. That's one way I could approach this. The other way I could approach it is by making a bar that has dovetails on both sides. Let me put my gloves on because it's freaking freezing. In my back. Wow, that's very cold. Very cold indeed. Oh. I'm going to set the sharp stuff aside for a minute. Oh wow, snow here in about 15 minutes is what they say. Wow, that's crazy. Love snow. Alright, this little brace. This is some complicated stuff. I could put this on the Discord. It's already on this place called Forestry Forum, and it took me some time to find. This is basically my rough layout for this brace. Now, one thing I didn't do that should be done is probably these should be scored with like a knife and not pencil. But you can see I have these layout marks on here. Some of the wood is coming all the way off, some of it isn't. So it has to be pared away carefully, much more carefully than I cut that last vertical member to this bed. But to start, I want to cut all of this waste off. So there's like a kind of a triangle with a blunted end that needs to come off of each side all the way. I haven't decided whether I'm going to take this and double it so that it's the same width as the vertical post, because right now it's not. It would take two of them to do that. But to start, I can definitely cut into those areas, probably clamp it vertically and cut downward, rip cut. it's only laid out on one side. I thought I laid it out on both. You guys are gonna have to trust me. I don't love that layout there. I'll tell you. It's a little different than my other side. Yeah, that's right. This is all. That is not a good 45-degree angle. It's tricky here. That's more like it right there, so it should be corrected 45-degree angle puts that right there. So even see, I did this with a protractor. The speed triangle's got a more accurate 45-degree angle, man. That's definitely correcting some of my marks here. That's different. Keep that pivot point there. All right, that's a little bit better. All of that's got to come out. You see right there, all of that shaded area has to come out. This has to stay on, because that accounts for the housing. Yeah, my layouts have got to be done by hand. Yep. I don't know how to use the CAD stuff yet. I have to learn. Well, I mean, I had what you call it, the most expensive one for a month. I didn't give me enough time to learn it. See, on this side, that doesn't look like enough for housing. It keeps getting me, like I'm looking at it from a different angle, and it makes me think that the housing accommodation there is not enough. It doesn't look like 3/8. That's tricky, because that's really, it may just have to be pared down real carefully. I think probably cross-cutting right here through this area first would be the smart thing to do. Yeah, so such a tiny little area. I don't know how I didn't notice that when I was laying it out. And it is a cross cut. It's very delicate. Yeah, definitely the knife would be a preference right now. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mess this brace up, Hank, so I'm not even putting the knife into it. Especially for a brace, you wanna definitely score it with a knife, a sharp one, because the pen, and my pencil marks are all kinds of off right now. I think I'm gonna have to lay the brace out again anyway, and I need to for practice. So I'm not that worried about that this time. Next time, definitely a knife. I don't even like this saw for it, to be honest. Let's move this clamp down. Oh, I want that to happen. Still a little bit offline. Sorry about cutting that. And that's it for the cover now. Kind of crazy. Should really be here. Call that it. This line right here doesn't matter. So that's gonna have to be done again. This one over here. That was done better. That's the problem. It should be going this way. That's why it didn't make sense. Slightly offline on that one. That's like the shoulder of the thing. Then all this other stuff could probably be, I could probably cross cut through it and just pare it away. Then the tenon has to be pared down. Hey, what's up, man? Saw you, New Beginnings Woodworks, friend of the show. Welcome to Haint, also friend of the show. And great contributor. Yeah, I think that's about where I want it right there. So this is all going to be waste. That's going to get pared away here. I need to tighten this. Hate that saw so much. Hate it. Gotta get a new one. Gotta put a note on my thing for tomorrow. New pole saw. Great question. Yes, it has a rip saw and a crosscut side. In this case, I decided to get this stuff done with the crosscut side because I have to angle it awkwardly for the live stream to do the rip side. But that probably would be better done rip cutting what I just did inward like this, because all I'm doing is making stop cuts. Make sure I know what I'm doing here. And even there could be a cross cut. Yeah. I'm going to flip this up and actually cut again. Great question, Hank. Yes, definitely is the answer. That's why it makes it such a handy tool to have. Now this waste all has to come out here to this line right here. So I could cross cut through that line and try to take the whole chunk off, or I could just kind of cut down to it and use a chisel to take it away. I feel like I'll be more accurate if I take it down to that line and use a chisel, but we might try to cross cut. This is tricky from this angle. It wants to blow out too. This is tricky. Yeah, y'all can see. Sorry, I didn't move the thing right. Move the thing to the thing. That's what I'm trying to cross cut now. I don't think that's a smart operation, IMO. I think I should take it down to this line by cross cutting through here and just pare it away. Because cutting against this line is so hard with the handsaw, and I don't have it laid out on the other side. I think that's a bad decision. See how fat the steel is on this? Because it's like American made, so it's just not made with the same kind of softness as the Japanese saw. Go down a little bit more. There we go. And then take this down to here. So all that can go away. I mean, because here's the rip cut saw. that side I don't like. I barely ever use it. So Harbor Freight's gonna have to pay me big money to like those tools. All right, so now all of this stuff has got to go. All of that. Stability on that side. The other shot is, see if y'all can see it still. Looks like you can see it. There's a big delay. All my clamps are occupied right now. I've got a piece of wood, 2 big pieces of wood being laminated, so I glued up. So I can't use my other clamps. Is it? I don't know what it is here. I just know it's cold. Little trick to get wood off when you've got these pieces cut like this, to turn the chisel around and use the micro bevel, like angle it slightly, and then the micro bevel will do the job. If you leave yourself a little bit of room, it should work well. Oh yeah, you can always use more clamps, but I'm getting low. Like I've had a couple pipe clamps break and a couple clamps get lost and stuff, so I need some more. I was thinking today I should take a trip to the hardware store and get 4 or 5 new clamps. Never can have too many clamps. And this is easy work with these nice sharp chisels. Typically the hardest kind of work chisel can do this work, but right now yeah, it's always nice to have backup tools. Is that a log splitter you're talking about? Yeah, because if you're talking about firewood, most definitely it's a bad night for that. I hit the old garage door with that one. Oh. I bet it is, man. I love a wood stove. You don't even need that much wood and they'll heat your whole house up. But if you get it roaring and you see that blue fire and it's just consuming the log, like that's the best. It's something evolutionary about those things and fire in general, you know. But to know that you're carbon neutral too, man, it's not costing you anything basically but your labor if you get your wood the right way. Man, slow night tonight. I hope Wednesday is a little better. It's all right though, you know. Juanita, unexcused absence. A bunch of unexcused absences today, you know. All the cool kids are in class. All the losers are at home. I mean, some may say they're losers for not being here, you know. Is it snowing? Can you explain what a mini split is? I don't know what that is. Oh, I see. I see. Oh, okay. I see. Thank you for clarifying. See you later, Vitaly. Take it easy, Vitaly. Friend of the show, Vitaly. Thanks for stopping by. I left some comments on your Discord stuff, I think. I think I did. I don't know. I don't remember. Can't see my layout line there, so I got to be a little bit careful about that. Ooh, wow, look at that. Luckily it didn't free itself, so I can still fix it. I might have to stay away from that for the rest of the night. We almost got this thing carved out. We got a little bit down here to get. This is going to be a brace. Sometimes referred to as a knee brace, but it's not a knee brace because it's not going to be in the bottom. It's going to be a upper brace. So a diagonal or a triangular shape is formed. I'm going to finish cutting this joint and then we'll wrap it up. I want to use a different chisel here. I've got a whole bunch of chisels that I just sharpened, so when you put it in the, would help to put it in the shop. Yeah, we're wrapping up. That's when Heather sends me messages. It's got to be tighter. I probably usually put 2 clamps on these. Especially when you're doing this kind of chisel work here and you really need it to hold steady. Nice big chunk right there. Thanks to that pilot cut. Gotta be tighter. Shout out to Juanita, unexcused absence. So when she watches this tomorrow, she should feel guilty about whatever it was that drew her away from her audience participation in my live stream. But shout out to Haint. Big shout out to Haint, friend of the show, keeping that convo going, man. See, I want to be able to hit it here with the diagonal angle. Oh, that's a nice sharp chisel. So whatever technique that I used last, because this was one of the last chisels I sharpened, was working real good. Yeah, man. Definitely. What's going to happen now is this area right here that I'll shade, or I'll make a little squiggly line in. It has to be pared down. And I haven't decided what my width is going to be. Probably at least an inch. I want the tenon to be fairly strong. So that's the case, I'm going to make that tenon on center, and that's actually not the way they normally do it. They usually do it off to one side. So you see this tenon here is going to fit the housing, and this part here with the squiggly line is going to be pared down to a certain depth. Typically the way that they set these tenons is it would be pared down to, the whole tenon would take place in here, and then there would be a hole here where they would put in a peg, wooden peg, or a couple holes there. And the way that would sit in there is it would sit, this tenon is going to go inside the housing of the horizontal, upper horizontal member. And so it's the most key piece of construction and the most difficult part of timber framing, traditional joinery construction. And if anybody, including myself, I'm practicing it, I've done it once before, it is tricky. I always think about doing it. It can be very punishing when you cut one wrong. Just go on Reddit. But we'll be back, and I'll be working more on woodwork. Shout out to everybody who showed up from the very beginning, all the friends of the show on here. I won't name everybody. Unexcused tardy to several members, several people. You know who you are. You should be ashamed of yourself, and your actions are indefensible. I like that word, indefensible. How am I expected to rise to the top without my most important people showing up on time and regularly? Thank you, Hank. Going back to the chat. Vitaly. Thank you, Vitaly. Also, new person, Vladimir Kovacevic. Kovacevic. Couple people new to the chat today, and then the little kids that show up first. Appreciate them too, because they show up, they say hi, and they roll out because it's not their thing. Everybody, appreciate y'all. Love you. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll most likely be back on Thursday as well. Don't know if I'm going to do Friday. We'll see. Got to put on this grind, man. A little slow today. Hope to see you back tomorrow where I'll talk more about bracing and traditional construction without using nails and stuff. Love you all. Take care. Hug somebody. Good night.